A role-playing game where you roll dice to support the life of a digitized conscience imprinted in an artificial body doesn't really sound all that special. But for those who've played Citizen Sleeper, the game is much more immersive once you start playing it than it sounds on paper. At least, that's what the general consensus on the internet is. Let's discuss the game a bit more and see if we can convince you to try it. The first question will quite obviously be, where can one play the game? For those interested, Citizen Sleeper can be played on Xbox Series X or S, Mac, Nintendo Switch, and PC. It's available on the Xbox Game Pass, so if you already subscribe to the Game Pass, you won't have to pay extra to check out the game. You'll only pay in the currency of time. If you don't have the Game Pass, you can expect to pay $20 for the game. Not a bad bet for endless hours of entertainment. And who's involved? The game has been developed by Jump Over the Age, aka Gareth Damian Martin, and it's been published by indie publisher Fellow Traveler. The game features the characters and artwork of cosmic artist Guillaume Singelin. Now, what's the story? Now that we know who's involved and where you can play it, let's talk about what you'll actually be playing. The game is set in a dystopian sci-fi future where an interplanetary capitalist society runs dominant. You play as a sleeper. A sleeper is a digitized conscience living in a frail, synthetic body. How did you get here? You sold your conscience to a megacorporation that paid for it and now owns it to use in an artificial body that works for them. However, you run away, and the suits want you back now. They're gunning for you, and you've escaped and stowed away on a circular space station called Erlin's Eye. Naturally, you're miffed at the real you for selling your mind and soul for a quick buck, but you are where you are now, and the next step is to survive, which is a whole task in itself. Next, bring on the brink of death. As a sleeper, you are always on the brink of death. The corporation that created your synthetic self left a drawback while manufacturing you. Your body is in a constant state of deterioration, and only the corporation sells what you need to stay alive. So you have to keep coming back for more. You need to restore your health every day, and the worse the state of your body, the worse dice you're dealt at the beginning of each cycle. And a bad set of dice means less choices, worse monetary opportunities, and less to spend on your health. So it's a whole circle. Now, the deal with dice. The dice are the main theme of the game. For every minor action, survival system, and character-related role-playing, you have to roll the dice. You are dealt a couple of dice at the beginning of each cycle, and these dictate what your cycle looks like. There are three types of dice: positive, neutral, or negative. Positive dice can be used for things such as filling your health bar or completing an objective. Neutral dice can help you with a low-level side quest, or maybe nothing would happen. Negative dice could have adverse effects like losing energy. Basically, the higher the roll, the better the chances. However, lower numbers aren't entirely useless. There's another side to using dice as well. In a place called the Data Cloud, your conscience is free of its synth flesh, and here you can hack into systems and spy on your previous owners, all at the cost of a few dice. You have to match numbers to get the right kind of information, and in such circumstances, even a 1 could prove useful. You could spend a 2 trying to spy on the Yadigan gang or on a shift at the noodle shop. You might do an awful job, but at least you'll go home with a belly full of warm noodles. What's a cycle? Now, we've used the word cycle a couple of times, and maybe you're confused about what we're talking about. Allow us to elaborate with an example of what a cycle could look like. Every day on the eye is called a cycle. You wake up in the morning with 2 meters rapidly running out. One can be refilled with food and the other with energy. On a good day, you may wake up with 2 great dice, 1 average and 2 awful dice. That's all you have for the day, so you have to spend wisely. You also need to make good fortune carry to the next day, so you need to make some money. You can start off by rolling the average dice. You make a decent amount of money and head over to the infirmary to get your health pumped up. Once you're juiced up, you take a look at your objectives panel. Let's say you have to help someone repair a part of the ship today. Now, if you roll positive, the repair will go well. If you roll neutral, it'll be fine, but if you roll negative, that part of the ship will crumble and float away into space. That would not be good. So you use one of the good dice. You progress through the day, rolling your remaining dice to complete their objectives, like, say, planting a mushroom farm. Don't forget to get some food once in the day, or you'll starve. Once the dice are all rolled, you'll go back home and end the cycle. The cycle begins anew the next morning with a new set and more objectives. Now, other characters. Your character does not live alone on Erlin's Eye. You are joined by a group of outcasts. These include hackers, mercenaries, pirates, mechanics, and others in similar situations. You could run into Lem and his daughter Mina, who are struggling to make ends meet in a poverty ring, or maybe the slum doctor Sabine might cross your path, who is in deep trouble with a local gang. Even a sentient vending machine has a distinct storyline that you might be be able to experience. Some of these characters may befriend you, some might deceive you, and some might just be a meaningless waste of time. But interacting with them is a great experience and definitely worth the gamble. The characters are scrappy, yet endearing, and grow on you as you play along. How you deal with them also impacts the path your character will take through the game. Next, the bigger picture. While it already seems like you have a lot to do, the everyday run of cycles and intergalactic capitalism is not all there is to the game. You also have to deal with a bigger, more dangerous threat. The megacorp you ran away from is still hunting you. You are still on the run and fearful for your life, the life you sold and then stole. So you must make enough money to survive, but also avoid the corporation's goons at every turn. The hint of danger only adds to the gameplay. Besides this, a power struggle for Erlin's Eye also affects you deeply. The strife between local organizations and galactic corporations has the worst effect on the working class, aka you. So you have to unweave these threads of a bigger subplot woven into your day-to-day gameplay. Now, multiple endings. Perhaps the most interesting facet of Citizen Sleeper is just how many endings it has. For an average gamer, it takes 40 to 60 sleep cycles to end the game. But here's the fun part. Every time you end the game, you might have a different experience. The game's endings are directly related to your interactions with other characters, the objectives you complete, and the dice you roll. So even if you play with a friend and start at the same time, you both might end up playing completely different storylines. What makes Citizen Sleeper so special? Now that we know what Citizen Sleeper is all about, let's discuss what makes the RPG so special. The innovative cyberpunk is a brilliant tribute to the genre. The impressively descriptive prose builds the narrative of a post-apocalyptic capitalist society with total ease. The characters are engaging, the life is immersive, and the game will want you to play on, if only for the sake of feeding the stray cat or talking to your best friend in the game. Even after ending the story, you will keep on playing to tie off any loose ends. And while the whole idea of trying to survive intergalactic capitalism while stuck in an out-of-body experience and trying to make a new life for yourself is plenty great on its own, even the side quests are worth spending time on. The dice mechanism just adds to the factor of having to play at life with whatever cards, or numbers in this case, that you've been dealt with. Just like in real life. If that's not all to convince you to play the game, the only argument we've got left is just give it a play. If you find hours turning into minutes and minutes into seconds, you'll understand the hype, just like we did. That's a wrap for this video. Have you played Citizen Sleeper yet? If yes, did you enjoy it? If not, have we convinced you to play? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like these. See you in the next one.